All right, there you go. So just sprinkle that all around and it's gonna get mixed in. Now we can go about bagging this different ways. I'm gonna show you 2 ways to bag it. Hey y'all, welcome back to Native Eats. The farmer came and brought beef. So I now have an excess of liver, and grass-fed liver is so good for you. So I encourage you to eat it, but in my house, I am not a fan. And then I guess my kids got that gene. So what do I do with all of my grass-fed liver? I started making natural dog food a long time ago. And Pasture Prime is who I get my grass-fed beef from. And I want to encourage you guys to check out their website. Please check them out. You can get some wonderful, wonderful grass-fed beef. So we're going to use all the organs from Pasture Prime today. And so what you'll need for this recipe is you're going to need to hook up your grinder attachment onto your mixer. You're going to need a really big pot to make about 8 cups of rice. And then inside the dog food, we're gonna put some veggies. Now be careful if you substitute any of these because dogs cannot eat everything. One of those things is onions. Don't put onions, but they can eat celery. They love carrots. I don't normally use mushrooms, but today I had an excess of mushrooms. So, we're just gonna chop all of this up, get it into the pot. So this is what we're gonna use today. We're gonna use a few seasonings like some salt and some rosemary and a little bit of pepper. Also, we're gonna use some thyme, and we're also gonna use some, probably some turmeric just to give this some extra vitamins. And then at the end, we're gonna put a little kelp. There's a lot of ingredients. And the last thing I didn't mention is you're gonna need to get some good eggs. We're gonna use a pack of free-range eggs, and you're gonna need your blender. So a lot of stuff here I know, but in the end, we're gonna make a lot of dog food. Okay. I have about 2 tablespoons of almond oil in here. We need to get the mushrooms searing because mushrooms are important to cook them thoroughly. And that is something that I recommend that no matter when you're cooking mushrooms, you make sure you cook them for a long time. And we're gonna just do a quick chop. We're gonna get these into the burner, which I have turned on to medium-high heat. All right, so here we go. I think this is about ready. So we're gonna go straight in with these. It's kind of hot, but that's okay because we have a lot of mushrooms here. And this is the same pot that you're gonna use for the rice. All right, that's what you want going on in there. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna move on to our rice. What I did here is I went through my kitchen, and I suggest you do the same, and I grabbed out all of my old bags of either quinoa, in this case black rice. I love this black rice. Then I also found this sprouted medley, so I'm gonna use some of this. And I was gonna open this big brown rice, and we're gonna use a combination of all of these, and we're going to use probably about 6 cups of rice. I was just thinking if I would use 8, we'll see how it goes. But you can use 6 to 8 cups of rice for this because we have a lot of meat that we're gonna use here. I'm gonna start off using up this quinoa because I wanna get rid of this because I've had this. Okay. So that's about 1.5 cups of quinoa. I'll put in 1.5 cups of this black rice. That's good. So now I know I have 3 cups. And of the sprouted medley. So let's go 6 and 1 of this brown rice, basmati. All right, 7 cups of rice. All right, so let's check these mushrooms real quick. They look pretty good. You see how they're making a nice little boil? See that? Cooking up real good. Let's go ahead and season it up now. Let's put, because we're gonna have 7 cups of rice and also lots of meat, let's put about 2 tablespoons of salt. This is thyme, dried thyme, and I'm gonna put about 2 tablespoons. We're gonna put 2 teaspoons of turmeric, because turmeric's good for them. And I'm gonna put about 2 tablespoons of rosemary. Okay, rosemary goes in. Definitely have tons of parsley, guys. I put about 3 tablespoons of parsley in there. And remember I said you could also put a little pepper, about a teaspoon of pepper, don't over pepper it. Now we've got our 7 cups of rice, and we can just go on in with that. And let's start off with our water. There's 4 cups in here, and if there's 7 cups, we need 14 cups of really good well water. That's 8 and 14. All right, this is a good opportunity to find some fat in your house that's really good. Some kind of good fat you want to get in here for the dog. So I'll be right back and I'll show you what I got. So we found like, this is an obvious choice. This looks like definitely is some bacon fat, has the bacon bits on the bottom, so we might add that. This is definitely some ham drippings and fat from when we've smoked ham, and it's all smoky. Again, we have like a liquid smoke stuff here. We save all our drippings in the Native Eats kitchen when we smoke. So I'm gonna go ahead and get rid of this and put it in, and that's like liquid smoke right there. Then I'm gonna use the rest of this. Probably be a little easier to just melt this real quick. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna melt that real quick. And then in the midst, yeah, let's put some bacon fat in. Let's add into this mixture molasses. And I put in probably about a 1/4 cup to a 1/2 cup there. Next, let's get our bowl of chopped veggies going. While that's sort of melting, we're going to chop up all of our veggies. So we're just gonna get these chopped up. Okay. Right into our bowl. Next, our celery. And as you guys know, I didn't really clean much of this because my dog likes dirt. I don't know about your dog. Here we go. Let's check this, by the way. Is that loosened? Kind of. Let's see. Okay. There we go. Ooh, had to fish that out. Okay. There we go. Dog is going to be happy that I fished that out for him. Boom. Okay, 15 minutes goes on the clock for that to boil. And in the meantime, we're gonna make the rest of the mixture. So, the first thing we wanna do is we want to take this pack of eggs, shells and all, into the blender. 24 eggs. This is really good for your dog that has the shells that they normally would get in the wild. They would normally eat them. Very good, just like calcium for us. That's the calcium for their teeth and nails and hair and all of that. So it's really, really good for the dogs to get these shells. All right, ooh, I got all the meat out. So this meat is all the meat that the farmer brought me, and I had it in a bowl in the refrigerator waiting for us to do this show. And then I stuck it in the freezer real quick while I prepared everything, just so it's really, really cold when we run it through the grinder. So what you want to do is you want to get 2 very large pans like this. These are going to be your meatloaf pans for the dog. Okay, and I like to grease them up really good. So I grab that bacon fat and grease these up really, really good, because this mixture, I've noticed over the years as I've made it, it really tends to stick. So anyway, next we're going to move to grinding all this meat. I'm going to show you how to grind the first few things, and then we're going to just take it out from there. All right, so let's begin to cut our packages. I'm just going to go one at a time. Okay, here we go. Look at that. And I have it on the larger grind setting just because I like the meat to be a little bit thicker for the dog, and it's less work probably a little bit. Oh wow, we just amped up production, guys. Do that. And let me do a tongue for you. That's the liver. Actually, this is the heart, which, by the way, this is really good. I like heart. In goes the tongue. Look at that. So this is what we ended up with. We had 4 packs of liver, a heart, and a tongue in each pan. See you guys back. All right, we're ready to put this doggy meatloaf together. So I'm gonna mix this up, the eggs that we did just really quick again because they've kind of separated and settled. Great, now we have our egg mixture. We have our rice mixture. It looks so good. It looks good enough to eat, right? And now we have our meat mixture. And so these are our 2 meat mixtures. This consists of 1 heart, 4 pounds of liver, and 1 tongue in each pan. And that's gonna cover 7 cups of rice. So it gets about 3.5 cups of rice per pan we're gonna add. to this nice, lovely meat mixture. All right, and now I wanna add, this is kind of an important step. Make sure you don't add the rice if it's too hot, don't add it to this meat mixture right away. You don't wanna cook all the meat up right away. So I like to add the vegetables. We're gonna add half and half. Just all spread out. I'm just distributing the temperature a little bit. Really, that's the only reason why I'm doing this, because I don't want this egg to cook up. Crank your oven up to 375 for this recipe. And now let's just go ahead. This is a big job. Somebody's got to do it. Just put half your rice mixture in there. Okay, there we go. That looks so pretty for the dog. Again, I'm just kind of distributing the temperature because we're gonna pour the egg in next. That looks pretty. All right, so the last thing we're gonna do is just drizzle this egg in. All right. You just don't want all the shells on the bottom because we're gonna pour it in here evenly, hopefully. And you wanna pour this really quickly because of those shells settle so fast. Look at them all. You see that? And just get all those shells in there. And there you go. You got pretty much all those shells out for your puppy. And then just give it a good mix. All right, so this is what you want your mixture to look like. Nice and blended. Now we have some beautiful dog food, and just get it right in the oven. And then so I'm gonna put this one on the bottom. You can bake them with the lid off, and then I'm gonna put this one in the middle. And these are gonna bake in the oven for about 2 hours. So once you take them out of your oven, make sure they're cooled till they're about room temperature, a few hours, and then we'll bag them up and I'll see you guys then. So Ralph did get into it last night. And now we're just gonna infuse it with a few vitamins. And you can use whatever you feel like your dog needs. Just make sure that you look it up and make sure that it's okay for the dog to eat. But I like to infuse it with a little bee pollen because I feel like that's something in nature that they would normally get their faces into. And then also, I like to give them some sea kelp. So we're just gonna sprinkle this on top. So we're gonna do 1 teaspoon of bee pollen and we're gonna do 2 teaspoons of sea kelp. All right, there you go. So just sprinkle that all around and it's gonna get mixed in. Now we can go about bagging this different ways. I'm gonna show you 2 ways to bag it. And the first way is if you have one of these saver machines, you can freeze it and it will keep better in this Fresh Seal food saver machine. That's the first way. I'm gonna show you how to do it. And then the second way is if you don't have a food saver, just go ahead and get some, whatever size you wanna bag up. If you wanna get gallon size freezer bags, you can bag up gallon size. If you have a large dog, maybe you wanna take out more. If you have a small dog, maybe you might wanna use a quart size. So that is another way that we can store this. We can freeze it and we can refrigerate it. It'll keep in the refrigerator for probably about a week to 2 weeks. And then it'll start to kind of go rancid because it is meat and livers and tongues and all that kind of stuff. It's fresh food for your dog. So that's why we freeze it. Okay, all we need to do is we're gonna put it in as much as you want in these baggies. All right, so I think that's about good. All right, let's see if we can do this right. I'm gonna stick it in. I need to put it on moist because it says dry or moist. And there you go, those are really pretty. And you can just date these, put them in the freezer. So last, how do you do it if you don't have a sealer? Well, you just take your nice freezer bags that you bought. Okay, that looks good. So then all we do for this is you're just gonna hand seal it. So you're just gonna press it out, but look at this. It's really not much of a difference if you hand press it to do it. And there's a little air in there. It's not perfect. You could probably press it perfect. And voila, there you go. Homemade dog food. So thanks for watching this really cool recipe of homemade dog food. So remember, please like, subscribe, and comment. And I will see you beautiful people on the other side.